Hey everyone, Andrew from Snakeworks. I'm going to make a video today talking about blood pythons and are they mean? I think we hear a lot about blood pythons being mean. So what does that actually mean? Well, when these animals were brought into the United States, I'm guessing probably the early 1990s, and people were keeping them, they had the idea that as this animal was coming from a warm, humid, wet location, that's how they should be kept. So that resulted in a lot of these animals just not having a good time. They were living with wet, mossy conditions, like not enough ventilation, too hot, and they end up with respiratory infections. And another thing that will happen is they get angry. You give them too much heat and these animals will just get angry like anybody else. If you're stuck in a hot car and on a summer day, you're like, tempers start to flare. So same thing with these animals. So things that we do differently now as responsible keepers is we recognize that they actually need a cooler temperature than what we thought they did. I'm gonna get into that in a minute. I'm gonna move her a little bit. All right, just so you can get a different view of her. She's funny. She's a little quick sometimes. So yeah, nowadays, like the snakes in my snake room, which is 75 to 80 degrees at all times. There's a fan going all the time. Humidity is about 50% year round. So that's the optimum conditions for this animal, including layers of paper that mimic the forest floor, the leaves. So we've created this little artificial environment for this animal that allows her to be a lot more relaxed. I mean, I don't know if relaxed is the way to describe this animal, but most of mine are pretty chill. This is the most hyperactive one I have. And I think a lot of that comes to just insecurity. I think she's probably nervous. Sometimes she's just scared. She's not mean. Not mean in the sense that people used to think that these animals were, because they were getting bit all the time, because they're giving these animals a ball python hotspot of 88 to 92 degrees or something, and the animals were not happy. So I think that's where the idea that these animals are mean comes from. Those earlier days of keeping. And well, you know what I should say? Even today, if I were to keep this animal in the wrong conditions, she'd probably bite me and be mean, especially if that was her initial and enduring encounter with me, of being somebody that just keeps her too hot. So you can still get a blood python today, keep it way too hot, wrong environment, and probably the thing will try to take your head off every time you open its enclosure. So it's important, if you're thinking about getting one of these animals, do your research. Don't be afraid of them. Just know what they need. And they'll let you know when they've had enough of your time. I've shown this animal off before. I just thought she'd be a good one for this video because she's so vocal and quick. And I think some people could say, oh, that's mean, but she's not mean. She knows I'm not gonna hurt her. Well, if you have any questions about mean blood pythons, or maybe you have a mean blood python yourself and you'd like to share some comments, feel free to leave them below the video. And thank you for watching, and please subscribe.